Hey everyone, good afternoon. It is Saturday uh, today, a little after 1 p.m. Eastern. Let us get started with our weekly review. So, what a week! Oh my God, crazy, right? To the downside. Uh, totally sort of got rejected from this 12,140. You're looking at a chart of NQ, right? This is a monthly view. Uh, so right when the new month started, December started, we saw a little bit of move to the upside, after that Fed talk, and then immediately it got rejected as the US market opened. And since then, we have been on the downward momentum. And this is a weekly view. You can see we had this whole consolidation for the past 4 or 5 weeks, right, between 11,500 and 12,140 on the upside, right? So we got a false breakout, got rejected from this downtrend line, and once we crossed under 11,610, something like that, the weekly bar became red, right? And now we are comfortably below sort of this support area that the stock price was kind of trading in, right? And now we have this sort of bearish looking bear flag pattern possible here, right? Where this area becomes the sort of downside target, initial target, and then we will see if it wants to break down further towards 10,720 area. That's where we had all these sort of support bounces from, right, about a few months ago. So if we break down below this channel, watch out below for this one. Maybe some pause here before the continuation down or move back up, right? In the daily view, however, if you bring it up, we have these sort of touch points where the price was having hard time closing above, right? It would rally and then get rejected, and that's exactly what happened the past couple of times we have been in this area. But this time around, we did not hold the support and we closed below that 11,500 mark, right? And now this one looks kind of doable here in the near future. Maybe a pause bar or something like that. To move back up again, you have to close above 11,600 in a daily time frame to kind of have a potential reversal pattern. Before that happens, it just looks weak, right? I mean, here's the 4-hourly chart. You can see this is just the yellow line over here is the weekly support level. But if it gets broken, right, that's where this sort of uptrend line looks like it wants to go. Yes, pretty similar look and feel. Let's take a look at the weekly view. I don't know why this shows up every time. There you go, right? Rejection from the downtrend line, close below the support here that we have for the past few weeks now, right? But the the move above 4,000 or 4,100 actually just wasn't strong enough, right? We have this top wick rejection, close below the recent support level, right into the middle of this bullish breakout bar that we had a few months ago, right? So if it continues to go back towards the downside, that's where the majority of the support is, 3740 area. So that looks like to be it's a possible path, possible target in the short term for further weakness. Looking at the daily view, similar look and feel, bearish trend bars, right? Couple of them paused right where we saw the breakout from a few months ago, back in mid-November timeframe, right here. So it paused right there. And this is where the majority of the support lies. If we continue to move back down, something like that. If you want to move back up, really need to get back above this 3940 to 3950 zone, because that's where the support was. So that effectively becomes the resistance now. Okay, let's take a look at QQQ. Seems yeah, I mean, similar to NQ, right? Still maintaining the structure, but again, it's weak. It's towards, from the trading perspective, right? This is the area we want to target. It could bounce from there very well, or if it wants to kind of slice through it, nobody knows. But you react according to how the price acts around those levels, right? Again, to be bullish, we really need to get back above in the daily time frame. I would say a close back above 283, right? That's where we see, we'll have a potential reversal in that case, right? That's where we will have enough strength in the market that we are saying, okay, it wants to go back up, and it kind of fell down temporarily, because that's where all the support was, right? And now this level, effectively 283, 284, we have a couple of touch points, right? We have a low of this bar, which is also the high of this bar, so that becomes our key area to look for on the upside, to see if it wants to reverse higher back to this downtrend line. Unless or until that happens, this could be the target, and then further breakdown from here. This is where we have the majority of the support area, 263-ish, something like that. Okay. SPY, again, similar look and feel, rejection from the downtrend line, couple of bearish trend bars, right? Yes, this one has a high compared to the previous bar, but it was with a long top wick, so it is definitely bearish, right? And closing back below 390 is bearish, right? That's where we have the touch points now, 373, 374. It could be a 3-bar bearish play, right? Kind of like that before we see any pause or significant bounce, right? But the structure, the sentiment remains weak for now. SPX is also going to be the similar look and feel. Weekly bar, got rejected. This was sort of a wedge pattern, right? We saw a little bit of breakdown from there. Daily view is again similar, lower lows, lower highs. Couldn't get and stay above this 3916, 3920, which was support, and now it should effectively be a resistance on any move to the upside, right? At least for the first time, right? And then we'll see if it wants to break and close above that, or if it wants to continue moving down towards 3740, even 3640 if it breaks below this 3740 region. Okay. Amazon, I think if you probably saw my last couple of videos, we were bearish on this name, right? As you could see, after this downside, right, it was having hard time getting back up, and we would get this top wicks right here, lower lows, series of that. No bullish week was seeing any upside follow through, and once we broke below this this sort of bearish flaggish pattern, I think it's much more visible in maybe a 4-hourly, right? Let me zoom out a little bit. There you go. So now, kind of broken down below that. We tried to get back up, got rejected on, this week. And then since then, we have been trending down. And now 86, 85.8 is the recent lows, right? If we can break below that, then 81 to 72 becomes our green box area, where I would like to kind of try some long-term far-dated calls, right? I mean, again, you should not expect a quick V. If you do get that, sure, trim some, but I'm trying to go go far out so that I can buy enough time in case the price wants to, spend more time in this region before finally seeing any meaningful bounce. Okay, let's look at Apple. Weekly view got rejected very badly. Just this whole series of these lower highs looks like in place. This is the big support area that, if taken out, is very bearish for the overall market sentiment, because Apple is sort of a leader, right, when it comes to QQQ, NQ. Just market takes a lot of clues from this name. So we have top wicks, lower highs, lower lows, no sort of any significant upside follow through to the bullish week that we saw recently. So that tells me price is still weak. Here's the daily view rejection from this downtrend line. Oops. So that tells you the price is still weak. Yes, we can see a pause here, right? Around 134. That's where we had these bounces from in the recent history. So it very well could be an up week, but as long as the structure is below 140, you should try to look for rejection on the top side, sell on strength, so that, because the trend is down, right? As long as the trend is down, so for example, right, this was the support level, right? You look for a move to the upside, right? Something like this into the trend line. Even if you short here, the chances are, if you like holding, if you like averaging down, things like that, it can work, right? Rather than you shorting right here on the breakout, averaging down here, and then stopping it out only to see it fall back down, right? So as long as your area of execution is generally correct, you will hit more profits rather than losses, right? And that's what the game is all about. Tesla, daily view, very weak. We have been bearish on this name, God knows, forever now. And I will continue to be like that, but definitely, it's going to hit a point where we'll see some good big bounce, right? It just oversold bounce at least for the first time before it tries to go back up or something like that. But from green box perspective, back in the October 20 timeframe, right? That's where we saw the big move from. I think this is support area. That's where we're calling a green box zone, where we can see a little bit of swing trade back bounce up. If not, then definitely this 111 area, 11110, that's where we multiple touch points. It was resistance, then it became support. So a lot of history in that area, right? So trying to target 140 to 135 zone as sort of a bounce zone if we get further weakness. And then of course day-to-day trades are different. Everybody plays them differently, right? Let's look at an hourly view. So yeah, lower highs, lower lows. This down channel is still intact. No hourly bar sees any follow through to the upside. Here was one, this was one right here. So yeah, I mean, it's just weak, right? Even this one, yeah, a little bit of follow through, but nothing that it could break above that. So unless or until again we trade below 161, the preference remains to short it on strength, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's look at Netflix. Gave good trades since the past 2 weeks, but I also attempted a bounce from this 296 zone, right? I did trim some a little bit in profit, but then some of that I had to take a loss because it just couldn't get back above 303, right? And that's where it started getting weak, and now it's just comfortably below this this trend line. So right now, if it gets back above 303, the chart, the structure becomes bullish. Otherwise, it remains weak. 276 can be the downside target on further weakness. That's where we have multiple bounces from. So just kind of look for that name. But on a weekly perspective, right, if we don't get downside, right, if we get a pause week or even a doji week with a little bit of green or a little bit of bottom wick, on a weekly view, we are not seeing any downside to any bearish week. So maybe this is a good week for the buyers to get back in, right? Because here is 1 week, right? There is 1 week, and now we're getting another one where there was absolutely no follow through to the downside, right? So this could be very well be a higher low, right? So from risk and reward perspective, any further weakness, you can kind of try to attempt to get into the long side as long as it maintains this 276, or you can give it some room, 270, just to kind of see how it trades. If it comes straight, maybe it could give you a bottom wick, right? Let's say if it trades down 276, 270, and later in the week it bounces back up, that's your clue that you're not seeing any downside follow through to get long, to look for higher prices, right? And yes, if you get stopped out, sure, you get stopped out, but the risk is low. So you gotta start thinking from that perspective. NVDA weekly view, really, I don't know. I like this can't make out of what this price wants to do here, right? So far, all I can see is no downside follow through to any bearish week. Here is one, and this is one with a top wick, right? If we can maintain structure above 165, I would say it's a win, right? Maybe this uptrend line can be your reference point. If I look at the daily view, we did see some rejection here in the past few days. This whole week was like that, right? Gap downs, move to the upside, can't hold it, get back down. But if we can hold this uptrend line, even gets a move down, but then later in the day or later in the week, we see a move back up from there, that tells you that buyers are stepping in. And on a weekly view, weekly level, the chart remains intact, right? But you can always make that decision towards the later half of the week so that you can have some clue as to what the final shape of the weekly bar could look like. Okay, Microsoft, kind of a similar look and feel to NVIDIA, but we have these two consecutive back-to-back bearish weeks now. That does tell me that there's more downside pressure than upside. So we'll tread kind of cautiously here on this name because it just looks more bearish right now at this moment. I would be more comfortable playing the bounce around 238 because that's where we have seen multiple bounces from in the recent history. So if we get to this area, sure, I'll play a bounce here, at least towards the back test of this one, or maybe a day trade, something like that. But that's where you kind of take the long if it gets there. If not, sure, we'll see how it trades, but that's what you kind of plan on. Google, a little bit of disappointment, I would say. I was hoping that it would trade at least towards 103.4 before pausing or not. But yes, I did get some money out of it, but really not a whole lot because I was looking for that push towards 103, 104 area. It did come down, broke down a little bit, gave up this 94, 93 support, and now it just looks weak right now, right? Any push to the upside gets rejected, like no upside follow through to any bullish days. Yes, we saw a gap down, but then it did not hold, and since then we've been kind of treading down. 86, 87 is the next major downside target. If we continue down, right, that's where we have these sort of touch points that it can trade towards, and then of course you see if you get a bounce or if it wants to break down further. But on a higher time frame for the chart to get bullish, right, you really need to get above 94. Unless that happens, pressure remains to the downside. Okay. Somebody else asked, how does all my charts look? So I have all these charts and levels along with the things that I want to play, so I can quickly update it to puts here, or I can quickly update the desired strike here. Whatever I want to do, play, things like that. So you can have this view. Let me know if you need this one. I think share a grid with you, something like that, so that you can have it quickly on your dashboard or on your platform, right? So I have all these different charts, the active ones that I trade, and then I just bring it up here on the active platform. The drill, you've seen other videos as well, but this just kind of helps me quickly glance at what's going on in the overall market, in the individual names, and then since based on the pre-market plan, you just kind of react and see which one is playing out according to the plan and which one is not playing out according to the plan, so that both of them. That kind of helps you, keeping you away from bad trades, because if you plan for something and it's not playing out, don't pay attention. Or if you want to trade it, that's fine, just reevaluate, right? Market does not have to go as per the plan. For example, this one, right? SPY, I think it was. Yeah, this bear flag, intraday bear flag that was forming, that, according to the analysis, taking a short here would have made sense, because then you would have it would have been a lesser risk to reward, right? But we saw a gap down, and then eventually broke down, but then initially it would have stopped one out, right? That it's going back up. Of course it went back down, but then you get the point. In the 5-minute time frame, here's on Thursday, right? This is what we posted intraday, bear flag, right? It looks nice on the 5-minute time frame. So you take a short here, or if you get a short right here towards the high end of the bear flag, so that your stop loss could be above this bearish trend bar, right? Just the natural chart based stop loss, and then you could have played it on the downside nicely like that. SPX was also weak yesterday. I think this is the one we played out. Let me see. Yep, this is the one I played out towards the earlier part of the market. Even this could have been your play as well. Just in a lower time frame, you could form those things, right? Of course, it did not go all the way down, but I think you get the idea of how you play this name. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. I know volume will start to get low, from next week onwards because of New Year's and Christmas holidays. We will also be out the last week of this month, and just overall not that active because of just friends and family and just a holiday mood and everything like that. And plus, everybody needs a break, I think. So it just kind of refreshes our mind, and I suggest you guys do the same as well. You have a whole year ahead of you to trade, so if this is the time you need to take some break, kind of connect with your family, friends, go back, this is a good time. All right, take care, guys, and have a good rest of your weekend.